Now, coming on to the Raptors 905 podcast, Reggie Perry, forward for the Raptors 905. Reggie, welcome to the podcast. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Thank you guys for having me. It's my second podcast since I've been drafted, so I'm feeling good. I like podcasts. I watch podcasts all the time on YouTube. So,
Really? What's your favorite podcast?
$1 Million Worth of Game with Olo and Gilly out of Philly. That's probably my favorite one.
I'm gonna have to check it out. D, do you know that one?
I've never heard of that one. No.
Everybody's been on Melo. Katie's been on it. All the rappers. Like, there's a lot of people. Like anybody.
So
been on it.
we're gonna be the stepping stone. We're gonna get you to that podcast.
They talk about something on there for sure.
What was the first podcast that you've been on?
It was a podcast when I first got drafted from Brooklyn. So yeah, that was my first podcast.
All right. First draft podcast. Okay. Cool. Well, first and foremost, we're happy to have you here. We're gonna dive right into your story. I cannot wait. Obviously, having sideline reporting and then reporting on your team all the time. I only get to talk to you guys in bits and clips, and when you guys are so tired, you just want to go back home. Or when you guys lose, you're like, I don't want to talk to nobody. So this is ground zero. You're neutral. Let's dive right on in. Tell us, honestly, I want to start from day one. How did you find the game of basketball? How did basketball find you? You grew up in Mississippi.
Yeah. Basketball really found me just because I was always around it. Growing up, my dad was a college coach. So I was always around it and stuff like that. Just going to watch his practices and stuff like that. So about third or fourth grade is when I started, I was old enough for him to put up with me in the gym and actually get me through a workout without me, getting distracted by something, younger and stuff like that. Your attention span is not just, not just as long. So, but third or fourth grade is when I started playing officially and stuff like that and started working out. I was born in Mississippi. I moved to West Palm right after that at some point. And that's when I started playing basketball in West Palm.
Reggie, you just mentioned to me that your dad was a college coach basketball. Where did he coach?
When I first was born, that's why I was born in Mississippi. He was coaching at Jackson State. Before I was born, FAMU. He coached at a bunch of schools and stuff like that over 25 years. He's at Mississippi Valley State right now. When I moved to West Palm, he was at Palm Beach Community College at the time. That's what it was called. I think it's Palm Beach State College now or something like that. So it was a bunch of places. When I first started playing, actually, he was a girls coach at a high school. So yeah, that was a fun experience. And that's when I was most around it and stuff like that. At that age.
That's so cool. So your first experiences of playing basketball was your dad coaching, a women's team at the time in high school, and you just kind of being around the gym, putting up shots, kind of learning. Did you have to learn with the girls too?
Yeah, for sure. So my third grade year, fourth grade year, I was just working out. And when I got to about fifth grade, I was kind of good enough to practice with him and stuff like that. So every Saturday, Saturdays, you go to school Monday through Friday, right? So Saturdays, you're looking forward to they scrimmaging on Saturdays, you know what I mean? Because they play during the week and stuff like that. So we getting up at 6 a.m., stuff like that, going to go work out at his gym, when he opens it up before all his players and stuff get there. And then that's when we start scrimmaging and stuff later on that day. And that was a fun experience. Just because you were just able to play basketball before you were on an official AAU team, you know what I mean? So that's why I say I was always around it.
That's when the game was innocent, yo. That's before all the madness of what the men's game has turned into, yo.
Yeah.
So growing up where you did, it's obvious what your influences were to get you into the game of basketball. I'm curious. I mean, we talked about this with Justin as well. You know, what players did you admire growing up? What players really motivated you to want to be an NBA player?
Growing up, my favorite player was LeBron. Of course, I was a huge LeBron fan. Not a big Kobe fan, but I was a LeBron fan.
He's wearing the purple though.
Yeah. I was a LeBron fan. I always looked up to him. And when he first got his first ring, I was finally able to, because my brother was a huge Kobe fan. I was a LeBron fan. So when he got his first ring, I was able to okay, yeah, I got he's that now. He's that guy now. You know what I'm saying? You can't hold him not having a ring against him anymore. And the crazy part about it was I actually got a chance to play against him on my time in Portland for the first time, because when we played against him last year in Brooklyn, he was hurt, obviously. So I just got a chance to be on the court with him and stuff like that, play against him, and it was just amazing. It was way different than how you see it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's because okay, yeah, he's moving really fast against these guys on TV. He's playing really hard, killing these guys against TV. So now you're out there with him. It's it's on a whole. It looks way different and feels way different when you actually playing it, sitting there and watching it.
I'm gonna get back to your childhood stuff in a sec. I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole of playing against LeBron. Did you have to defend him?
I actually defended him one. Well, I defended him ISO one possession in a fast break, and it was just crazy. I just saw him coming down full speed. Now, that's where he thrives at, just coming downhill full speed. And he was just moving fast, but he set up for a jumper. So I was all right, cool. You know what I mean? Because he was just coming down fast, and you see him. But yeah, I actually guarded him a couple possessions and had to double. We were doubling him that game. So I was in a double team a couple times that game.
And this is crazy to me because obviously LeBron is still an amazing player, and I'm actually completely on your side. I don't know if D is, but I'm team LeBron over Kobe, FYI. Back in the day when they were Kobe or LeBron, that was the hottest debate topic in basketball. I was LeBron, let's go. But pay respect to respect is due. Kobe's still an amazing player, of course. But it's crazy to think that that's him now, and you're saying how amazing he is. Could you imagine playing against him, Reggie, 5 years ago even?
No, I can't. And the crazy thing is, I've played against a lot of people, played a lot of games in my career and stuff like that, and just seeing him, what people don't understand is how fast and how athletic he is. I'll just put it like that. A lot of players I've played against have been athletic. You know what I'm saying? But this guy is 37 years old right now. Just still at one of the most, if not the most athletic player, in the league right now. You know what I mean? And that was the most shocking thing, was when I was playing against him. That's what I found.
So you might be a little biased then because you grew up loving LeBron. So we know where you stand with the LeBron Kobe argument, but when it comes to Jordan LeBron, where do you stand?
I still say LeBron. I'm gonna still choose LeBron, but I mean that's the era I grew up in. You know what I mean? So
right.
I haven't seen enough games of Michael to play. I was born in 2000, so yeah, I haven't seen a game to say that he's the best ever. So all I know is LeBron. So when I'm talking to old heads and stuff like that, they saying all you know is LeBron. Which okay, yeah, I agree. So I can't just say but all the just off the highlights I've seen of Mike, it's just you could tell he was just a different animal. It was special.
Do you asking the hard questions?
I was gonna say, can I assume you've seen The Last Dance?
Yeah, I definitely see. I saw The Last.
So that didn't help maybe sway the narrative for you or make it at least a more of a debate?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely did. Just seeing all the stuff he did with his teammates and stuff in practice, and how he made his team, you know what I mean, become great over a lot of years. But it also kind of swayed me away too, because I'm looking okay, this guy LeBron is all these series he's going into, best out of 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them that they going into, or what were they best out of 5?
I think at
So
one point, yeah.
yeah,
in the
so
first round.
at one point they were best out of 5. So I'm looking like, okay, LeBron is playing almost, you know what I'm saying, 28 games maybe. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, so it kind of swayed me away that it's, you know what I'm saying, at the same time it's, you know, but he's definitely, if not one of them two.
Well, I
Listen,
hope I hope your sake that you never have to go to the road on Charlotte, because I'm sure if Michael ever gets whiffed of this, you're gonna be in big heap of trouble.
Yeah.
listen, we can have a whole podcast literally just on Kobe LeBron versus like, Jordan as well, like the GOAT debate. But let's bring this back to the Reggie Perry podcast on this one, okay? Reggie, you talked about, falling in love with basketball, your roots in Mississippi, how you trained with the women's team. But, I'm kind of curious because you mentioned your brothers. So I'm thinking you came from a basketball family. How many of them how many kids were in your family, and did you guys all play basketball?
Yeah, so it's 3 of us. I have an older brother. He's at Mississippi Valley with my dad right now, still playing. He's 2 years older than me. Then I have a younger sister. She's she's a year younger than me. My brother played basketball. My sister didn't play basketball. Well, seriously. Like she tried, but she didn't really take it serious. Like she wasn't like me and my brother. This is my mom ran track, so she kind of like tried taking after her with the track running and stuff like that. So uh, yeah, so it's 3 of us. And me and my brother, just growing up, we always like competed and stuff. Because like he was only 2 years older than me, so we were always like in the same house at the same time and stuff like that. So it was funny because like I was talking to somebody about it the other day. It was Christmas and I was talking to them about it. Like, remember we was sitting like in the front yard, like playing 1-on-1, and we had our sister being a ref, right? So my brother used to always win all the games. So I used to like tell my sister, like, you reffing, so you gotta help me out. So like, she used to just start calling terrible calls. And I'm getting the ball, like we agree, like, okay, we gotta respect whatever call she called, you know what I'm saying? Like, so she calling travel, she calling everything. That's the only call she know. So I'm getting the ball. And I started winning and stuff like that. So my brother's getting pissed, you know what I mean? Because we were respecting the calls every time. So that was a fun experience. Just being able to grow with them, the same household.
That's awesome. I believe there's a Kyle Korver quote about like you don't want it bad enough unless you're cheating a little bit or something like that.
Sure.
So good. You know the system. Break the system.
So you
Go ahead, D.
Sorry, you had several offers coming out of high school. You ultimately made the decision to decommit from Arkansas and then playing for Mississippi State. What was the process behind that mindset, and why did you ultimately make that decision?
Okay, so really, so I played for an AAU team out of Arkansas from like 6th grade all the way through high school. Um, just because my dad was coaching in Arkansas at the time I started playing. At the start, I started playing AAU. So I played with that team throughout high school, and it was like 4 of us that were committed, or yeah, it was 5 of us that was committed to Arkansas, to the University of Arkansas. 3 of them actually end up, well, 4 of them actually end up going. One of them was younger than us. He was a class below us, so 3 of them actually went the year that I was graduating high school, and 1 came after. And I was also, that's one of the reasons why I was committed to Arkansas. But I had to look at, like, we all committed really young. Like, I committed my sophomore year, maybe my sophomore year of high school. And as I grew older, like, took an entire year. I think I ended up committing to Mississippi State like the end of my junior year. Took an entire year to like think on it, and like I had to realize like I got to do what's best for my career, what's best for me. And I knew there was going to be a bunch of coaching changes and stuff like that. That was going to take place when I was going to school. So that was one reason. Another reason was like after I decommitted, Coach Howland really just kind of just like I attracted to Coach Howland a lot just because of all the players like that I've seen him, you know what I'm saying, put into the NBA, like his track record, basically, like all the Final Fours and stuff he's been to. And not only that, like we were, like me coming in, we were gonna have a good team that year that I was coming in. And not only that, my dad played at Mississippi State. I was born in Mississippi, so I kind of, you know what I'm saying, like attracted to Mississippi State.
Was that kind of like the biggest pull for you there? Like, was there any other factors on the court wise or like coaching? I'm sure the coaching staff was great, but like, was that like kind of like, you know what? I made this decision to go to Arkansas, but my heart's calling me to Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, after I decommitted from Arkansas, I didn't like I didn't. I tried taking my time with the process. You know what I mean. I waited a couple months and weighed out my options with all teams. As soon as I decommitted from Arkansas, I didn't know right away I was going to Mississippi State. So it ended up coming down to Mississippi State and Florida State. And I just didn't want to like. I love Coach Hamilton. I love his staff, and I love everything he does for his players and stuff like that. He has a great track record at the same time. So like, it was kind of like 50-50. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be that close to home. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I was going to high school. My family was living in Thomasville, Georgia. That's like 30 minutes away from campus. So I kind of wanted to get away from home a little bit. So that's why I chose Mississippi State.
Did you cross paths much at all with Scotty Barnes?
Yeah. So I played on the FIBA U19 team with Scotty. And it's funny because like me and Scotty, so a little bit of my childhood was in West Palm. So a lot of the people I grew up with in West Palm, like Scotty knows, like it's the same people that he hangs out with. You know what I'm saying? So he found out that I stayed in West Palm when I got on the FIBA U19 team. He was like, oh, 561, that's the area code. Oh, 561, stand up. You know what I'm saying? So every time I see him, it's still like, you know what I mean? Even though we were never in West Palm together. And another crazy thing is like my fifth grade year, I was playing for like a local AU team out of there. And the head coach is actually is one of his family members, you know what I'm saying? So like we sitting in Greece. And he's on FaceTime. He's like, yo, you know this guy? He puts on the phone. I'm like, yo, that was my head AU coach in fifth grade. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of did cross paths a little bit, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the basketball world is like,
Yeah.
it's so small. It's so small. It's scary sometimes. So I was gonna ask though, like, has there ever been a moment where like your dad coached you on a team, like not like training outside, like actually coached you?
Yeah. So in between. So, like I said, I started playing AAU with a team out of Arkansas my sixth grade year. After we left Arkansas, we moved to Tallahassee, which is 30 minutes away from Georgia. And my seventh grade year, I didn't play with the Arkansas team. That's when like we had got our own team, and he was the coach of that team. So that was a fun experience too. Like just being able to practice with him every day. Be able to see how he is like on his players and stuff like that from like the inside, not looking from the outside. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good experience.
So your 2 years at Mississippi, all freshmen, all SEC first team, you accomplished a lot in your brief time there. Did you achieve everything that you wanted to? I know that last season was especially disappointing considering the tournament got canceled, and I can't wait to talk about that draft because your class is so unique that you didn't really get to showcase yourself in sort of high pressure and the biggest stakes in college basketball. But when you look back at your career and maybe before you started, your NCAA career, did you do everything you sought out to do, and did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, for sure. Like I set down like a lot of goals before each season on whatever team I'm playing on. I write them down, and one of the goals was my freshman year was to make it to the NCAA tournament because our team had been in 12 years, which we did. Another goal of mine, like going into my sophomore year, was to average a double-double, which I did. So I set down a lot of goals. Like you said, like it was like since we didn't make it, since COVID hit and we couldn't do like the last part of the season, like we didn't get a chance to like prove ourselves in SEC tournament, and like because we were a bubble team, so it wasn't like knowing okay, yeah, we were gonna make it to the tournament, like whatever. Like we wanted to make it back to the tournament because we got beat in the first round, like my freshman year. So we like, okay, we don't want to just go to the tournament. We want to win a game in the tournament and stuff like that and get going and stuff like that. So it really hurt for me and most of my teammates not being able to go to the tournament my sophomore year because we didn't know. Like we were on the boat, we were like, okay, we got to probably win like 2 games in the SEC tournament. You know what I'm saying? And the team we were supposed to be in the second round was Kentucky. You know what I mean? We felt like that game get away from us my sophomore year, so we were ready to see them again. You know what I'm saying? And we knew if we won that game, we were definitely gonna make it to the tournament. So we didn't even get a chance to play in the SEC. So in the SEC tournament. So yeah, I feel like other than that, I feel like I accomplished most of the things that I set out to do.
The SEC is one of the toughest conferences in the states and in the NCAA period.
Yeah.
So shout out to that. And like I talk about my twin a lot on this podcast and just everywhere I can, but she played for Alabama and like watching her games in the SEC, it's like top level competition. So to make it even as far as the tournament and everything and how you stood above the rest, really. I mean, that's the whole reason why you got drafted to the league, which I actually want to segue into that conversation. Let's talk a little bit NBA journey now. Walk us through draft night. What was that for you?
Draft night. I'm not gonna lie, like the entire draft process was just stressful. Like, cause our draft got pushed back like 3 times just because of COVID. You know what I mean? Like they kept pushing it back a day. Okay, we're gonna have it then, we're gonna have it then. Like, so November 18th finally comes around. It's like I'm waiting the entire night. Like I had a bunch of promises on the table. A bunch of teams saying that they were like highly interested. And if I'm here, they're gonna choose me here. If I'm here, they're gonna choose me here. You know what I'm saying? So it was stressful like most of the entire night. Like I was still like I didn't get done like till probably like 12:30 at night, just after the draft and after doing the interviews and then after spending time with family and stuff like that. But it was stressful. But I mean, I'm like when I got drafted to where I got drafted, I looked at it like, okay, I'm in a great position, you know what I'm saying? I'm in a great position where I can make a name for myself, you know what I mean? And have a chance at an NBA championship, you know what I'm saying? So I looked at it on the good side. But I was just glad, like all I wanted to hear, like I didn't care honestly where I got drafted. All I wanted to hear was just like my name get called, you know what I mean? Like that's your long-term goal is to hear your name get called. So it was fun at the same time, but it was just a long night.
Yeah, I mean, because not only were you drafted did you expect to be drafted in the first round? Was that some of the promises that were made to you? First question, I have a few questions on this. Was first round expectations there?
Yeah, for sure. From myself, yeah, for what I felt like I accomplished that year before, you know what I'm saying? And that summer before, I definitely felt like I deserved to be a first rounder, but then my agent was telling me like it's a possibility, you know what I mean? Like it's a good possibility that happens, but you never know how the draft goes. You know what I'm saying? Like you never know. Like so, I was expecting it, but then I wasn't having my hopes too high. You know what I mean? But
So I did a little deep dive and I found out that you were the homecoming king back in high school. So I'm curious, you've talked about how nerve-wracking that was. What was more nerve-wracking, walking out as the homecoming king or the draft night?
How am I not surprised, How am I not surprised that he was homecoming king? That's a deep dive, D. Once again, D's coming with the hard questions today.
I heard the interview and he was talking about how nervous it was, and I was like, you know what? Being drafted has got to be the most nerve-wracking night of your life. So which one is worse? He's really stumped.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably say like my homecoming.
Oh,
really?
damn!
Yeah, I'm gonna say my homecoming just because, like, okay, so the draft.
I love this.
Dang, I don't like the draft. I'm with my family. Like, I'm sitting down next to my family. Like, I'm not on TV. Like, if I like, I'm not gonna like get up and like trip and fall or anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, if I don't get drafted, like, okay, it's a bunch of people that don't get drafted. I know I'm gonna have like opportunities if I go undrafted, maybe better opportunities. You know what I'm saying? But like homecoming king, like I was nervous. I'm walking on the field, like, and I'm just standing here. You know what I'm saying? Like homecoming, like our homecoming, like everybody is there. So I'm just like dang, if I don't get, you know what I'm saying? Like if I don't get homecoming king, I'm like, dang, I'm just standing out here, like I'm shaking, like while I'm walking, like we walking from one side of the field to the other side of the field. And I'm like, I was pretty nervous. I'm gonna say homecoming
You
king. Sure.
You know how I can tell he's telling the truth? He got so fidgety when he was talking about homecoming king. He's like
Yeah.
moving his toque around. He's readjusting himself. I
Don't
think he got
make me relive
flashbacks.
that again.
You got the PTSD started kicking in. So I'm sorry to put you in that uncomfortable position. But with the draft per se, like it was there was a lot of uncertainty with that draft because again, the tournament was removed. I assume a lot of your interviews weren't in person. You're doing them on Zoom calls. So, body language, all that sort of changes for prospective teams and GMs to kind of get a field for you. So, that entire draft process, how different was it compared to what like maybe people who went through normal years where, they're going to combines, they're going to in-person stuff. Like how did that change your mindset and your approach to the whole process?
Yeah, it was a lot different because like you said, there was no combine, there was no in-person interviews and stuff. Like you weren't going out working out for teams like in person. You know what I'm saying? Um, and like I went through the pre like I had my name in the draft after my freshman year. So I got to go through like the entire pre-draft. Like I went to the combine. I went and worked out for teams. I had in-person interviews at the combine. So it was a lot. It was a lot different for sure. And at the same time, it's like I said, it kept getting pushed back. So like a lot of people go, like a lot of people, players go into drafts like right after the season, right? So it's like people like remember the hype that you came. Like I feel like a lot of the draft is based off hype and like what you've done. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of the hype was like had already died down because we sitting here for months. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You don't even remember. You don't remember what like I did in February or January. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that was the like hard part about it because like they haven't seen us play in so long. You know what I mean? Like people, I don't feel like people really remember like the damage you did like in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Like how many games you won and stuff like that. So you just based like I feel like they were based off like we recording like our workouts and stuff in Vegas and we posting on YouTube hoping teams look at it. You know what I mean? So and I don't feel like teams are like actually going out their way to like it was probably a couple teams that did it, you know what I mean? But so it was kind of hard. It was
Yeah,
a-
like everything you knew prior to like going through those combine workouts in person to like having to do all virtually. It's like
yeah,
throw that out the window. How are you supposed to impress somebody through
yeah,
a screen? It's so much different. Just the same way that like you mentioned off the top, like watching LeBron on TV versus playing against him in real life, completely different things.
yeah, it's completely different.
I'm curious though, like, you finally did find, your spot in the draft and you were originally called to the Clippers.
Yeah,
And then you got immediately traded to the Brooklyn Nets.
yeah.
How fast was that turnaround, first of all? I gotta ask that.
So the turnaround was actually pretty fast. The turnaround, it was like I had in like the 40s, like early 40s, I had a team. It was a team that had like back to back picks. They said, okay, if we don't pick so and so here, we're gonna pick him here. So I'm like, okay, they're gonna pick him here, and I'm going here. So I'm having my mindset like I'm going to this team. So then my age, like I'm sitting there looking at the TV, like my name don't go across. I'm like, okay, they didn't pick him here, so I know I'm not going here. So I'm calling my agent and stuff like that. He's like, yo, Brooklyn says that they about to trade. They about to get a pick from the Clippers and they're gonna draft you at 57. So like when the draft came on and it said I was going to the Clippers, like I already knew I was going to Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like so like when I showed up on TV, like I just had the Clippers hat,
Uh,
but I knew I was going to Brooklyn already. So it was a quick turnaround.
gotcha. Interesting. That's actually, I don't hear that side of the story that often because oftentimes as viewers, we just watch the draft. You're like, oh, so and so got drafted here. Oh, big turn of events. But it's interesting how you already had that figured out and planned
Yeah.
before that even happened. But I mean, just I think about like what it would have been like for you to be a Clipper. Like how much different do you think your career could have been going that direction?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like they were both like good teams at the time. You know, they both still good teams. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it would have been more. like it would have been the same amount of like learning experiences that I went through in both places. They both were like veteran led teams with Kawhi and Paul George, Katie and Kyrie. Um, I honestly can't tell you like, but I don't know. Like the funny part was like when I got drafted, of course it showed up as the Clippers. All my followers on Instagram are coming from people from LA. So it's like, everybody texts me like, "Congrats, good luck in LA. I'll be out there." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm going to Brooklyn. Like I'm all the way on the other side of on the other side of the states. Uh, but I don't know like how different it would have been. I feel like it would have been equal like learning experiences. Equal probably about the same. Equal like playing minutes experiences and stuff like that. So
That's so funny. They're like all claiming you like West Side, let's go, and you're like East Side.
So with Brooklyn, you end up signing a two-way contract. You spent some time with Brooklyn, obviously, but also Long Island. I heard you talk about being locker mates or neighbors with DeAndre Jordan, how much of a character is. But you also talked about how you played on the same court as LeBron. You had the experience to play with another generational talent in KD and Kyrie as well. How was that entire process, and what were you able to learn from some of those vets?
it was a great process. DeAndre Jordan really took me under his wing. Um, really, with me being his rookie. So it was a great learning experience. At the same time, being able to just play with KD and playing with Kyrie, like seeing like how much work they put in daily. Like first day I got there, like the GM called me into his office, and like the office is like glass windows all. You can see the entire practice facility from his office. And KD was like the first one on the court already. He was like that guy right there is who you need to like look at when it comes to like working. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna be in here every single day, and literally like I've never like I tell everybody like I've never seen anybody like that plays basketball that works harder than KD. Like by
Mm.
like it's not even close. So just being able to see that and like I'm coming in, I'm thinking like, okay, like I was the hardest worker by far at Mississippi State, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm thinking like I'm I'm gonna try to match his energy, you know what I'm saying? But like you thinking you matching his energy, but like he's already been to the gym like way before you even got there. Like he's showing up to shoot arounds like on the road way before you even got there. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good experience, and then learning how to play with good players. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people when they get drafted high, and then they go to like not good teams. You know what I'm saying? And they the guy or they playing good, but then you get traded to another team or you sign with another team that's really good that you lost. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know how to play basketball. You don't know how to like you know what I'm saying? Like get score the ball or like affect the game with like when you're not the best player on the court. So that was a good experience for sure.
So one person you got to spend a lot of time with is obviously Coach Nash, who is revered here, the Canadian son. I'm always fascinated by Steve Nash. I love listening to him in interviews, and he's just not just a great human being, but he's a great basketball mind. What were you able to take away with your brief time with him?
Just how to be professional. You know what I'm saying? Um, how to how to show up on time, how to take the game serious, how to like be a leader in your own way, how to affect the game. Like the first time I met Steve Nash was like I got drafted there. First time I met him was Thanksgiving. Like he invited me out to dinner, just me, him, and his family. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that like, and we sitting there talking and stuff like that. He's telling me a lot of things. Like I got like the best thing was I got chances to like ask him a whole bunch of questions like throughout the entire year about like how he played. You know what I'm saying? Like how he led teams, how he, you know what I'm saying? Like how was he leading? How did he talk to his teammates? You know what I'm saying? Like how did he affect games and stuff like that? So that was the best thing, is being able to ask him questions the entire year uh, was a good thing.
Now, Reggie, you've had so much like NBA, experiences so far, but out of everything that you've learned from playing in the NBA, like what's been the biggest thing that has translated now to the 905?
Um, biggest thing, it's like I said, just continuing, like just not getting just staying humble and just continuing to work is the biggest thing. Like just like I said, just seeing KD how hard he works. Like this dude is the best in the world. Like he the best scorer like in the world, maybe ever. You know what I'm saying? And still the amount of work, you know what I'm saying, he puts in um, is not getting too. I can't think of the word, but like not getting too like happy with what you've already done. You know what I'm saying? Like just continuing to like, yeah, we out here winning games. I'm out here statting out really good, you know what I'm saying? But just realizing that there's always more, you know what I'm saying? There's always more you can achieve.
Yeah, no, like having, obviously watched you play and you guys won the game against Lakeland last weekend at home.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell you in the scrum afterwards, of like, listen, your stat line was actually pretty solid for any player. It's a good stat line. But, I felt like you took it on yourself to like, nah, I could have been better. And I
Right,
think it's like that mentality that really pushes players to go far in this league.
right, for sure. For sure. Like you said, I was hard on myself after that game. Just because I'm always thinking about like the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you said, like I statted out good, right? But we won the game. But I took 15 shots. Like when I get a call up, I'm probably not gonna take 15 shots anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I probably like that game I didn't play that well defensively. You know what I'm saying? When I get a call up, I'm not taking 15 shots. So them 6 shots that I did make, they're supposed to be like 6%. In my mind, they're supposed to be 6 for 7, 6 for 8. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as like the next level every single time. You know what I mean? Like get like trying to get better every single time. I'm not just looking at it as like, okay, 21 points, 15 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at it as like you didn't box out like 3 possessions because I'm not going in playing 34 minutes. Like on a call, I'm not playing 34 minutes. It's not much room for error in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, you had 15 rebounds, but like you missed 2 box outs and they got the rebound. Yeah, they might have missed the shot, but like in the NBA, like on those offensive rebounds, that's the highest percentage shot on offensive rebounds and kickouts. You know what I'm saying? So those NBA players are making those shots. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
So that mentality obviously landed you a brief stint with the Portland Trailblazers. You were one of the beneficiaries of all these 10-day hardship contracts that have been going out. How was that brief experience with the Trailblazers, and how much did it hurt for you to be away from Mississauga in Toronto?
That's a lie. D, come on. Come on.
It was
How much did it hurt, Reggie, to be away from Canada in the middle of January in the craziest time of the winter? How much did it hurt?
okay, so listen, the weather, I'd rather be in this weather here than Portland. It was raining the entire time in Portland. Like raining. It's like the 10 days that I was there, I saw the sun one time. And that was the day I was leaving. Literally, I saw the sun one time. But it was a good experience. Like once again, being able to play with good players, another time to get lots of minutes on the NBA level, another time to like show like what you can do on an NBA court. A lot of time, the best thing I took from it was like being able to show that I'm able to like pick up on things quick and fit in fast. You know what I'm saying? Like pick up on the chemistry fast. With only being there 10 days, like I flew in a night of a game and they play the next day and I play the next game. You know what I'm saying? Like that next day. So just being able to like show that, okay, like I know how to play NBA basketball and like 905 has done like a good job. Like going through training camp is like they've all done a good job of like teaching me how to play basketball, play NBA basketball. So it was a good experience. And then also just be able to play with another Hall of Famer, being able to, practice with other great players.
I was gonna,
Yeah.
I was gonna say you went from one good point guard in Steve Nash to another in Chauncey Billups. So just the wealth of knowledge between the two, just it must be really beneficial to you.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and the crazy thing is, like, they both coach the exact same. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm,
Really?
yeah, they
interesting.
very mellow. You know what I'm saying? Like, they both players, coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
they like relaying a lot of things to like when they play, and they know how it feels like and what you're going through, like while you playing and stuff like that. So that was a good thing.
Listen, Reggie, I could talk to you literally all day. We should. I'm putting in the request right now to Raptors 905 PR for a part 2 of the Reggie Perry podcast. We're just gonna rebrand this podcast to just RP podcast now. But just before we let you go, I do want to highlight something that you've done off the court, at least as a player, and that's giving back. You know, you've given back to your community in Georgia. You've organized a 3-on-3 tournament to grow the game of basketball down there. But like, how big was that for you?
Man, it was huge. Like, so I did like a kids camp. My was it the year I got drafted? That summer I got drafted. I think I did a kids camp, and it was a good turnout. But just being like, so the funny part is like, so the way I came up with the idea was like just being in New York the entire year. A lot of people don't know, like, so my brother and my best friend was there. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, I'm not playing in games. I'm going to practice and stuff like that. So I'm 20 years old. I'm going to go hoop after practice. Like, I'm going to the park and we hooping. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like when we were younger, you know what I mean? I'm playing like 3-on-3, 4-on-4, like in the park with like regular people, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't realize, like, a lot, like, none of my coaches knew or nothing. Like, James called me one day. He's like, yo, what you on? Like, trying to get on the video game. Like, hey, what you on? I'm like, I'm at the park. He's like, you at the park for real? Like, I'm real live hooping out here. So that's how I came up with the idea, like, just of a street ball tournament. And it was a great turnout. Just like, just being able to see like the community all come out, like a whole bunch of vendors wanted to show up, a whole bunch of people wanted to participate. Like a whole bunch of teams like ready for the next year. Teams like saying that they already had a team together and stuff like that. So it was a good turnout. I'm glad I did it.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible, and that's big. It's big. I know, like, you're doing it for the love of the game, and I feel like that's where it's the purest, when you're just back in the park hooping like it was nothing. Whoever has ball shoes, even then, debatable. If you have a pair of shoes and a ball and a hoop, you're good. 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3 doesn't matter. You don't need 5-on-5. That's awesome that you put that together, especially for the community. I'm sure they just enjoyed it as well. Gold star. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here, I think, then. So once again, part 2 of the Reggie Perry podcast to come sometime in the future. Please, Reggie, we gotta get you back on.
I got y'all.
I need more Homecoming King deep dives here.
I got you.
Awesome. Thanks for joining the Raptors 905 podcast, Reggie.
All right, thank you.